Great, thank you.
Greetings, Facebook family, Detroit community, all my friends, colleagues, constituents, relatives, and otherwise. This is Baba Kapense Chike once again for another installment of the Black in the Day and the 617 tour. We had an honor to be here on Hall Street in Massachusetts, Boston, somewhere in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm not sure what part of the city that is in. But we are here at the Copp's Hill Burying Ground. And I'm going to read what it says, okay? I'll turn it around for a minute. The Copp's Hill Burying Ground, and this is the grave site of Prince Hall. And I'll just turn the camera around and walk you to the site in just a minute. Okay, and the plaque reads, Copp's Hill Burying Ground, stole round many among the graves, lean on the freestone slab which lies over the bones of the Mathers. Read the epitaph of stout William Clark, despised of sorry persons and little actions. Stand by the stone grave of sturdy Daniel Malcolm and look upon the splendid slab that tells the old rebel story. Dr. Oliver Wendell Holmes. And this is pretty much, I think it's a plaque on the other side, so I'll cross to the other side so you can see that as well. Just kind of showing you some of the scenery in the area. The plaque reads, Historical Burying Grounds Initiative, Copp's Hill Burying Ground, established in 1659, National Register of Historical Places. Visitors, please take notice, no gravestone rubbing, do not sit or lean on tombs or gravestones, no alcoholic beverages, no dogs. This burying ground is a place of honor and history. The condition of the gravestone is a result of time and the effects of weathering. Preserve this site for future generations by treating it with respect. The site is open during daylight hours. And as you can see, there's people visiting here. I didn't think there would be a lot of people here, but so now walking to the actual grave site, and they have a lot of maps of the different where people are laid out, and I understand there's a significant amount of, there we go, from the period around the American Revolution. I'm taking what I think is the most direct trail to get to the Honorable Prince Hall's grave site. And they have a very small, what appears to be an original marker. You can see that marble monument. That is something that was placed there years after the Honorable Prince Hall was interred here. I'm just going to follow the path around. And indeed, we're almost coming to the end of the tour. And it's been real. So, I'll get a kind of shot back far away. That's not the original marker. I'm going to hone in, see if I can find the best way to get to the original marker, which is here. I'll read it. Here lies the body of Prince Hall, first Grand Master of the Colored Grand Lodge of Masons in Massachusetts. Died in December 7th, 1807. And I'm assuming at the time they weren't sure when he was born. And just in front of that, you can see the very large marker that was placed here. I'll step back so you can see it. And as I was considering doing this, I couldn't help but think about, in some ways, I'm doing this in honor of my grandfather, Charles J. Redmond, who was my first introduction even the concept of masonry. He was a mason. I can remember when I was a very, very, very small kid, seeing him with the apron, white gloves, and other aspects of what they put on uniform, preparing to go to meetings. Now I'll just walk up closer to this and read what it says, and you can see the Masonic symbol there. Also, there's another smaller symbol, so you can kind of get a picture of that. The smaller one says 1775 Patriot. This larger monument has the Mason symbol, and it reads 1748-1807, Prince Hall, erected by M.W. Prince Hall, Grand Lodge, M&A, M of Massachusetts, June the 24th, A.D. 1895. So this was about 88. It was erected 88 years after Prince Hall was interred here, and it says June 24th, A.D. 1895, AL 5895. I'm not sure what that means. I'll back up again with the hopes that you can get a kind of full view of this monument there. Then I'll kind of hone in again onto the actual original gravestone, headstone, which is here. And then I'm gonna just kind of, I just want to read a little information about the Baba Honorable Prince Hall. Born in 1748, he was admitted to the Masonic Lodge in, I'm not sure of the particular year, kind of can't read my writing, sorry about that, but he was first admitted with 14 other African Americans. In 1777, Prince Hall engaged in the distribution of anti-slavery petitions that express the parallels between the American Revolution and the emancipation of enslaved Africans. In 1787, Prince Hall established the first African Masonic Lodge. In 1791, Black Freemasons gathered together and established the first African Grand Lodge of North America. That same year, Prince Hall was elected the Grand Master of the Lodge. In 1798, Prince Hall established the African Free School for blacks in his son's home. I think his son's name was Primus Hall. And Prince Hall established the school after submitting several petitions to the legislative body here to establish a school for African American or descendants of African citizens in this area. Part of his argument is that they paid taxes for the existing schools and they should have access to the schools. After several petitions and efforts to get a school established for African Americans in this part of the country, this part of the world, Prince Hall established a school in his son's home, Primus Hall. I don't have the exact year. Oh, it says 1798. So that was just a few years before he passed away. He died in 1807. The year after he died, the Black Freemasons, as they were called at the time, renamed the African Mason Lodge Prince Hall Masons. There are currently, throughout the United States, Canada, the Caribbean, and Liberia, 4,500 lodges that are Prince Hall lodges and over 300,000 members. And what continues to stand out to me, Prince Hall lived from 1748 to 1807. In the late 1990s, he's established the schools. We know in a similar year, I think in 1897 in New York, they established what was called the African Free School. But in we see continuous expressions of these black people really African people referring to themselves as African. So they didn't establish the free colored school. They didn't call the lodge the Negro Lodge or the Colored Lodge. They called it the African Free Masonic Lodge. And this suggests to me, to some degree, these our ancestors who had gone by so many names, even as late as the early 1800s, and in some cases even the mid 1800s, were referring to themselves as Africans. And I'm just kind of perusing the area of the cemetery, not anything of significance, but I'm trying to edit on the spot because I'm trying to kind of omit some of the people in the cemetery from being in the picture. I'm going to walk back towards the entrance because there's an emblem that I wanted to kind of show as I close this out. And this is right in the middle of a regular neighborhood. Very old cemetery. I think it dates back to 1659. So going down the hill to the outside, and just as you enter here, there's a logo there, a medallion or whatever you want to call it, in the ground, the Freedom Trail of Boston. And again, this is the Copp's Hill Burying Ground, which was first established in 1659. Again, this is Baba Kafense, Dr. Chike, on Hall Street in Boston, Massachusetts. And we just visited another site that I would say is important, and that's the grave site of the Honorable Prince Hall, African freedom fighter, fought for schools for black people and liberation for black people. And he also is most significantly known for establishing the Prince Hall Masons in the mid-1700s. So I ask you to continue with me as we continue the Black in the Day and the 617 tour, a tour of Black Boston. This is Baba Kafense Chike with another installment. Stay tuned. Peace.